Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Martina Vassal. I'm president of the Association for Popular Music Education. Our organization, our mission is to promote and advance popular music at all levels of education, both in the classroom and beyond. And so we're very excited to partner with Musico. We have Dan Mascola, the founder, CEO, is here to do a webinar explaining how to use it. Welcome, Dan, and welcome everyone else.
Thanks, Martina, and welcome, to the attendees. Thanks for joining today. We had quite a bit of registrants. I think probably some people are still in the classroom. It's always it's tough to find a good time to do a webinar for teachers. I'm excited to be partnered with APME. I've known them a while. I think we both share the mission that popular music can help boost engagements and motivation among students, especially Gen Z, where they have access to every song ever written anywhere in the world on their phone. And so kind of incorporating popular music is something that can help boost enrollment, get students excited about music kind of in the classroom. And so I'm the founder of a platform called Musico. I'm going to walk you through it today. We're in about 70, 80 school districts across the country. Actually have a customer in Singapore as well that we recently signed on. Supporting about 7,000 students. We mainly support guitar, ukulele programs. Modern band programs also tend to use these instruments, which we're kind of used in, as well as general music that uses those two instruments. So our platform is web-based. We have about 400 songs from the 1950s all the way through today. All of the songs here are student-generated and student-requested. We add about 10 to 20 new songs a month. And kind of our goal as we go into a new district or a new school is to try to match the music that they're listening to either in the community or in the school system or in the area with the content that we have. We've got classic rock from the 60s and 70s. We've got kind of the 80s music. We've got a lot of 90s boy band stuff. And then getting into hip hop, we have rap tunes, country music, Christmas music, which is popular, of course, this time of year. And then we've got a large population of Hispanic students that are using the platform. So we have some Mexican pop. We've got, I think, a Korean pop and Japanese as well, all in those kind of respective languages. So again, as students request songs, students are actually exposed to a lot of music from a variety of places like TikTok, video games, anime, movies, and TV. And we kind of get all those requests and we try to support that as much as possible. We do support kind of guitar and ukulele as well. A lot of our uke tunes are a little bit more tailored to the younger audience, the elementary school. So we have Disney, Frozen is popular, but we have kind of the Harry Styles, Taylor Swift. Love it or hate it, we have Pink Fong, Baby Shark. It was requested, so we added it. I have an 8-month-old, and I'm well aware of the annoyance that song has caused many people. I'll take you through kind of a lesson here. All of our song lessons are structured in a similar fashion. I'll do kind of Blank Space by Taylor Swift, where we're really taking a song and breaking it down into bite-sized pieces and with a focus on practice. And I think that's kind of our learning methodology is if we focus on practice and do it the right sequence and do it deliberately, then the students can learn very quickly. So the first thing to learn is a G chord. We have the finger position here. We can dive in and see an actual photo of the chord fingering, calling out some tips to produce that nice clean sound. That tends to be the most difficult for beginners is getting that nice clean sound. So we really have kind of like an information rich with pictures and then the correct, and we also show the incorrect. So here's some common bad habits to avoid. So often students will go and they'll look at their hand and they'll be like, oh yeah, my thumb is wrapped around, like this is wrong. And they can kind of toggle back and forth and see, okay, this is the right way, this is the wrong way, this is the right way. And it really kind of sets the perspective on building those habits, those good habits from the start. We also can take a look at it just a different perspective here. And then we have audio files on every slide. And so students can hear how it should sound as well as how it shouldn't sound. And again, we show both perspectives because a lot of students, it's going to sound like this when they first start. And hopefully they identify, oh yeah, this is what I sound like. I must be doing something wrong. Let me go and try to troubleshoot. And I think in general, one of the things, one of our core philosophies is building a sense of ear training. So over time, as students are learning different chords and learning the instrument, they're able to identify, okay, this is what it should sound like. This is what I sound like. If there's a discrepancy, I hear something is wrong. Let me go and try to figure out what that is. That's just a good foundational skill for really all musicians. And then at the bottom, you see this focus on deliberate practice. So repeat 20 times, take a minute break, repeat another 20 times. Once we've kind of got that clean sound, now we can practice strumming. And then we add a new chord. And once we know 2 chords, now we can practice the transition back and forth. And again, the student is practicing this 10 or 20 times. And what's really nice and what kind of I've learned over the last 2 years of rolling this out and kind of seeing the adoption is Musico acts as a bit of a break for students because, and a break, I mean a slowdown for students. Because often students will learn the G, they'll learn the E minor, and then they're like, well, let's go to the G, right? Let's just get to the next thing. But unless you stop and actually focus on the transition of 2 chords, you're not going to get very far. So oftentimes it's kind of students are going through these lessons. If they hit a point where they're struggling or they're not kind of performing or to the skill here, they can just kind of back up a few slides and then kind of practice and that foundation and then keep going. The other nice thing is, what we try to do is have this adaptive learning element where students can go at the speed that they're comfortable with. So some students may even know a G and E minor already. Oftentimes you find in guitar and ukulele programs, there is a wide variety of skill sets. Students come to class already knowing a couple of things. Maybe they learned on YouTube. They were taught by their uncle. Other students haven't even picked up the instrument in their life. So how do you support this kind of variety of skill sets and learning speeds in a group of 20, 30, or 40 students? Musico helps you provide that flexibility. So students who already know this stuff can kind of keep going and get to something that's new for them. And you get the hang of this, right, fairly quickly. So we're adding new chords, we're practicing the new transitions, and we're building up until we get to a chord progression. So the student, again, is playing this chord progression 10 or 20 times. This is your basic quarter note down strum. And this is, of course, the chord progression for blank space. A very common one, of course. And all of our song lessons have these song sheets, which we color code. We have these cute little chord icons that we throw over the top so students can be like, oh yeah, it's the 2-finger chord, or oh yeah, it's the triangle chord. And some of you may be familiar with Ultimate Guitar, where they have just millions of chord sheets and tabs. But for like this song, there's probably 57 different versions. They're in different keys. Half of them are incorrect. There's ads all over the platform now. And so we really try to strip away everything. These are super accurate. And we make it really, really simple. And part of the reason why we color code is to make kind of learning rhythm and chord transitions easier. And so, for a magazine, the G to E minor happens on the second syllable of the zine. So students probably know this song, right? They know it in their head. And we're kind of using that familiarity with the tune to translate that into playing the instrument. So we have some metronome here we can turn on. We have a couple fun, metronome sounds. It's not just a click track. We do have an auto scroll. Every student just wants to play along to songs they love, and so we try to make that as easy and quick and fast as possible. This actually scrolls to the true speed of the song, so students, and you can play hands-free. If it's too fast, you can slow it down. I'm not sure why you'd want to speed it up, but you could certainly slow down tunes that are at a higher tempo. The common question we get is, can Musico play this song through the platform here? No, we can't for licensing reasons, but we do have a Spotify playlist that we share with you and you can share with your students that has our full library. And even, for songs that we do transpose, we do let you know kind of what the capo position would be. The other thing that we have is this cool little video recording feature, really helpful for assessment. And so on the song sheet here, or even on any one of the slides throughout the lesson, students can just click this and it will record them. They can record a verse, they can record a chorus, they can do the whole song, and then they can stop it and they can watch it before submitting it. And what's really cool, what we found out in the last year is that students will actually watch themselves 3 to 5 times and redo the video until they get something that they're happy with. Students tend to be their harshest critic, and when they see them playing and they're like, well, it's not very good, they tend to want to redo it. So they'll stop, they'll practice a little bit more, and then they'll re-record. They'll still not be happy with it, and then they'll kind of do it again. So this is the exact behavior that we want to build, right? It's kind of a self-critiquing and kind of admitting you could do better, and then practicing and accomplishing that goal. And then when students are happy with the video, they kind of send that to the teacher portal, which I'll show you in a minute. So what we really try to do is kind of fill in the gaps for students, right? So here's kind of the overview of the song. There's 2 parts. Here's the chords and transitions and progressions we're going to learn. And we can see everything in green the student has already learned. Because as we go through this, we're actually tracking their skills in real time. And everything in gray they haven't learned. So students can easily kind of come in here and be like, oh, okay, this is a new chord progression. I don't know this. Let me just jump right to it and practice this. And when they go through a lesson, at the end of every lesson here, we have this, I know how to play this button. It's really the kind of complete button. And what happens when students click this is we capture the skills for that lesson and then say, okay, now based on the skill set that you have, here are some things to learn next, where, we might teach a new chord progression or a new, chord transition. And students can kind of scroll through and pick something that they like and then go and learn, that tune. And so this is our ability to create this personalized learning path for every student through the songs that they love. And so we're tracking all those skills in what we call My Journey. And so we're tracking chords and the transitions, progressions. We support about 5 different types of strumming patterns: a folk, a backbeat, which is basically like a root 8th note strumming pattern, a couple of 3/4 time patterns. I'll show you melodies in a minute. But what's cool is you can dive in and see like, okay, here's the chords that I've learned so far. And here's all the chords that I haven't learned. So again, we're trying to kind of show this holistic picture of what you need to learn to play the instrument and then where you're going to go. So whether, it's you're teaching the G7 in class today, or the students like, I just want to learn a G7, they can actually click this and see all the songs that have a G7 in it, and then go pick a song they like. And, La Bamba would teach them 3 new chords, actually: a C, a G7, and an F. We also track practice time. This is just the time the student is engaged in the app itself. The teacher can see this as well in their portal. And another interesting thing that we learned is students kind of know when they're slacking off. But when we put the data right in front of them, then it actually like kicks their butt into motion and they start practicing again. So students that will see, a couple weeks of zeros there will go, yeah, I know I haven't been practicing. I better get back to it. We get that feedback quite often, actually. And then the student can, of course, see their videos that they've submitted and, really create this kind of full portfolio over the course of the semester or the year. And it can be really cool because at the end of, a year of learning the instrument, learning guitar, and learning uke, you can go back and actually watch like the first video you ever made and compare that to, where you are today. It can be, quite a sense of accomplishment, which is really cool. The other thing that teachers have the ability to do is make comments and provide feedback on specific videos. So this is what you're seeing here, this view note. So the teacher, has said like, nice work, here A+, and the student can go through and view that note on the particular videos. And then finally, we have a kind of a linear progression of skills. So as students are learning, new skills and new songs, this, little bar will start to move to the right. And, the milestones here are somewhat arbitrary, learning basic chords and basic strumming, bar chords, playing more songs, getting into flat picking and riffs. The goal isn't really kind of, this is the way, the milestones of learning an instrument, but it's more to see progress. And so hopefully as students are learning, they're going like, oh yeah, last week I was at, 1.1%, and this week I'm at 2.4%. I have made progress. I can see the chords that I've learned. I can see the practice time that I've put in. And ultimately that all of that kind of reinforces a desire to keep going. I think one of the things that I learned when I was playing is the number one motivator for not just high school or middle school students, but for anyone learning an instrument is seeing progress. As long as they can see and validate that they're moving forward, that is the desire to wanting to keep going. And so we just try to visualize that and put it in front of them. For ukulele, it's the same thing, just of course with chords. So we've got the chord diagrams of the ukulele, and all the photos and stuff are of course the uke. Everything else is pretty much the same. So let me show you. So that's kind of our chords. We show basic chords. We support bar chords. I mentioned strumming. And then we have a number of melody lessons as well. So like La Bamba tends to be popular. Again, we take the same type of approach where we're taking a lick or a riff, breaking it down into bite-sized pieces, and then having the students practice each piece here. So we show the staff, we show tab, and students again practice that 10 or 20 times and then add on the next thing. And kind of once they know those two, well, then let's put them together. And the song sheets are, of course, similar. This is a fairly simple one. So we have something as simple as Happy Birthday, and then Layla is probably our most complicated, not complicated, but challenging song on the entire platform. It's just up and down the neck. Of course, it's very fast. And we're constantly adding new and challenging songs. And so kind of, I think today we could probably support a guitar 1, beginning guitar class, guitar 2.5, I would say. But our goal is to keep adding skills. So adding, hammers, pulls, and slides on here, bends will be the next thing, power chords, and then getting into finger picking. So those are all things that we'll probably add over the next, 6 months to a year to continue to lengthen that runway for students that, are more advanced. The other thing that we've done is we've kind of codified a lot of these lessons with data to make it easy to find stuff. So like if you just wanted to see like, what are all the 2-chord songs? Here they are. These are probably our easiest tunes, of course. And then here's all of our 6+ chord songs, which are going to be more complex. We can find songs by specific chords. So let's say the first thing you teach is a G to, I don't know, an A7. Here's all the songs that have a G to an A7. A common question that kind of students will ask teachers or themselves as they're learning is like, okay, I know how to play, a G, C, D, and an E minor. Like I can play this chord progression with my eyes closed, but like what music can I play? What songs can I play? This helps answer that question. So you can just pop in these chords. Here's all the songs that we have that have those 4 chords in it. Students can go pick something that they like. And then we have, you can filter by lesson key and song key. Like I said, we do transpose about half of our songs into easier keys because beginners, are just not going to learn a song in C# minor to start. And a kind of a fun thing to do is like, if you just want to see what songs do we have that are in the original keys, you can just kind of do the song key and the lesson key in A. And all these songs are in the original keys where you wouldn't need a capo. So we continue to add new songs. We just added another 13 or so. We're adding another 20 ukulele soon. We're adding ukulele melody soon. And we're also adding scales. So major, minor, and pentatonic in the kind of the general keys that we support here will all be added so students can practice, their scales and really set that foundation for soloing and kind of, improvising, which is the next logical step for the platform here. I typically stop here for questions, but we'll do that at the end. So I'm going to log into the teacher account and kind of show you what that looks like. The other thing to mention is we have single sign-on. So setting up your organization or students is really easy. We actually just do a bulk upload, and then students log in either with Google or Microsoft using their school credentials. So IT teams really like this, and it makes just the experience kind of a one-click thing for students, where we're not managing their passwords. The students are just using their school passwords. So a teacher account has, of course, access to the entire library, plus the ability to go and create different classes. They can go in here, and like I mentioned, we just bulk upload students. It kind of takes about 10 seconds to do. And then a teacher can dive in, and they can see the skills dashboard of the student. They can see the student's practice time, as well as their portfolio of videos as well. We also track the kind of the total skills, the total skill songs and practice time for the entire class. The numbers actually get to be quite high when you start to measure this stuff. The practice time, can be in the hundreds or even thousands of hours over the course of the class. One of the interesting pieces of feedback we get is from teachers that kind of know who isn't, engaged and who's slacking off. But for the students that are really putting in the work and the effort, the amount of hours that they accumulate over the course of a year or semester is quite a bit. Students will practice, we've seen 4 hours a week. And that can be eye-opening for the teacher just to see how much time that they're putting in. And then our assessments page is the dumping ground for all the videos. And so our whole goal here is to make it really easy for students to capture what they're working on and then keep it automatically organized for you. So if you want to just see, like, I want to see all Sammy's videos, so you quickly filter by that, or Dan's videos, quickly filter by that. And we automatically tag they were learning a basic chord. It was a D, and then the song that they were learning. You of course can watch the video. This is the one I just submitted, and then send feedback. You can do a note. Keep that thumb behind the neck, or you could do a video feedback if you wanted to. Offer praise or even do a demonstration. The videos are private between the students and the teacher. We do that for COPA compliance, but if you wanted to copy a link to this video and put it in like their profile on a learning management system, you certainly can do that. And then if you wanted to share the video more broadly, you can just download it, get the MP4 and put it in an email or post it to your school's group or something. We have a number of settings as well. We do have some explicit songs on the platform. If a student requests it, we'll mostly put it on. I would say about half a dozen tunes, are explicit. We just follow the recording industry's definition of explicit material. So you can hide those. You can hide specific songs as well. An example I always give here is at the elementary level. We have Margaritaville by Jimmy Buffett. Not really an explicit tune, but it references drinking, and that may not be appropriate for second graders. So we can hide the tune here, and it will just hide for you and all your students globally. Often youth classes don't want to show all of our guitar tunes, just so students can stay focused, on the ukulele. So we have instrument access, and then the ability to kind of turn on and off video recording. So that is an option for you. It's not required. Where we're going with this is really supporting kind of the modern band movements and modern instruments. And so probably the next thing we'll add is either keyboard or kind of drums, percussion. Haven't totally decided yet. And then bass guitar, and potentially vocals down the road. But our goal is to kind of use data to say like, oh, this keyboardist, guitarist, and drummer are at a similar kind of level in their journey. They're interested in similar music. Let's put them together and support an ensemble or have like a little mini band. And we can, not only do this within a class, but we can do this within a school or even across a district. Just kind of use this data to support creativity and creation in the ensemble playing. So that's the kind of the 3 to 5 year vision. The other thing that I'm very passionate about is kind of creating and songwriting. So the second half, or in the spring semester, we're going to be working on a songwriting kind of page that can help students, put some chords together, map out forms of different songs, put some lyrics in, have varying difficulties and templates that they can use to really help kind of promote creating music. We hope to do that with kind of the modern instruments. So that's where we're headed. I think kind of that's all I had. I know we're getting to the end of the half hour, but I'm happy to take some questions. If you want to, I guess, throw it into the chat would probably be best.
Yeah, either way, it's a small group. I know a lot of people are going to view the recording later. So yeah, if you have any thoughts or questions for Dan, you can just throw it in the chat. We can address it. I'm curious how some people think they'd be able to use this in their programs. We had people from a variety of teaching situations sign up. And I personally just love all the data you have there. It reminds me of my Fitbit app, where it's like tracking all your activity for the week. That's kind of fun. It's like gamification of learning, really, which is pretty cool.
And so one student, well, actually, there's 2 students last year actually learned every single skill that we had on the platform. I think there were like 357 at the time. So, this was all filled in. You can see, the transitions. There's, of course, a lot of chord transitions to learn. They learned all of these. And then, we have all the chord progressions too. So they learned all of these. And so I was amazed. And we gave them a free guitar and lifetime subscription to the platform. There wasn't anything else for them to do because they learned everything, but it's pretty fun.
It's fantastic. We do have one question from James. Hi, Dan, what integrations or schools that you work with use or integrate Musico with Schoology?
So for Schoology, so we don't integrate with learning management systems directly because it's really difficult. Every learning management system is different, and then the setup of those learning management systems is all different. So it's just like we just can't do a custom integration for every district. But I think kind of what we have works well for most, actually all of our customers. So the common question is like, oh, how do I like assign a lesson? And actually all of our lessons here have a unique ID. So often what people do is they'll create the lesson in Schoology, copy the unique URL here, and just put that in the assignment, and then blast that off to the students. The other thing we've done is on the video side, those links that I was telling you about, if you wanted to like put that in a student profile in Schoology, you could certainly do that. So we're kind of, it's on the back burner about how we have a tighter integration with the LMSs, but at this time, it's just a bit too difficult for us to do it. Yeah, it's a good question.
That's a great question. And James says he's introducing a course called Music Basics, focused primarily on guitar, maybe ukulele, and what you've described would work well for us with Schoology. I'm adding the ology in there for some reason.
I did that for like a year before I realized.
Kevin asks, are there any video examples of this being used in the classroom?
We do have some videos from last year. Getting student videos is always tough. I wish we had more, just because of privacy reasons. You have to get consent from parents and teachers and students and whatnot. But we have some case studies. If you want to email me, I can send you some case studies and some examples. The other thing I'll mention is we have partnered with Soundtrap, which is if you're not familiar, Soundtrap is a web-based DAW, like GarageBand, but on the web, which is really cool because they make it collaborative and they focus heavily on the K-12 market. And so there's a lot. I'll actually post it in the chat right now. We wrote a blog on kind of how the two come together, and we did a webinar with Soundtrap earlier in the semester. And right around now, a lot of students have been kind of doing what's really described here in the blog, using Musico to learn the instrument, but then Soundtrap is a great recording and performance tool. And so let me do everyone. So this kind of blog will explains, there's a couple different use cases and some cool things that we've done. We actually took a twist and shout, broke apart the different tracks, drum track, vocals, rhythm guitar, lead guitar, and then have students be the lead guitarist, right? Like they're John Lennon, or be the the rhythm guitarist and the lead guitarist like George Harrison, and they can play along with the Beatles singing, and Ringo on the drums. So we have a lot of examples like that, of songs where we split out individual tracks, and you can hop into Soundtrap and play along.
Yeah, and James made another comment that there's a need to expand in this area, but there's some reticence from teachers who might not feel real confident in modeling the skill. So it's nice that these tools provide lots of examples and don't expect the teacher to be a guitar expert, although we would all grow in our skills.
So about 70% of our customers, guitar and ukulele is not their primary instrument. Maybe it's even 80%. So that's why we have a guitar and ukulele curriculum. I think James, we were just talking earlier to purchase this. And again, if you go to our website, musico.com, you'll kind of see that. That was actually written by the guitar curriculum, and the ukulele one was written by a customer of ours who's been teaching guitar for like 15 years. And so while we focus on the platform, we also focus on the professional development resources that we know are needed for kind of this shift that's happening.
Great, and Kevin says that's cool. That is cool.
The other thing, so we have, and I can mention the pricing. So the pricing is a per student per year. It ranges between $14 and $17 per student per year. If your students don't have kind of individual access or individual logins, which we sometimes see at the elementary level, you can buy a teacher account for $119 per year for one teacher account. Now that doesn't provide the personalized learning for the student, but you can put it up on the smart board or use it in the classroom on the projector or something like that with all the students. But we also did just release a freemium version. So if you just go on my.musico.com and do sign up, you can sign up as a teacher for a free teacher and actually invite unlimited students. You're just limited to 3 lessons for the students. So you students can get a taste if you want to try it out this year, kind of see if it's something that they like, see if it's something you and your program or administration likes as well. It's always really good to demo. And then the full version gives you access to the videos and the skills plus the unlimited library.
Fantastic. Well, we're just a few minutes over because we started a few minutes late. And all of you will get a follow-up email. We'll include links to the website, Dan's email, other links he referred to. So thank you all for attending. Dan, thank you for walking us through. I think it's an amazing program. And I hope everyone has a great day. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.